All right, let's get into the impossible machine, which is where you put in a power source and it gives you the 3 times the amount of power. And I watched a video on this the other day, and it gave me an idea as far as if we built a wooden container, we wrapped it in metal, we put like a trampoline on the bottom, and we get inside of it and we jump up and down. And this basically, I think, would energize the body to be able to perform that 3 times the output. And yesterday, or the day before, I watched a video about Bruce Lee's secret room, and it happened to show a drawing of a man inside of a coffin wood container with metal wrappings. And it was exactly what I was thinking days before, after I watched The Impossible Machine. So things connecting all together. This can be how Bruce did the 1-inch punch, or how he could kick the 800 or 1,000 pound bag and make it hit the ceiling, or do the 2-finger push-up, these types of things, or how he was so fast. This can be one level, okay? The other level is this could connect to some type of time travel device, and or dimension jumping, and the planets can be dark speak for dimensions of Earth, which connect to the rainbow, and we live in this red spectrum, this red dimension, and it's controlled by the Satan and those types of things. But as God comes through man in one form, it comes through the world, and then it goes to where the whole world can go to the next level. Now, either this is physically speaking or symbolically speaking, okay? It's either one is playing, and the dimensions gathering together would be your phone and the telephone, the ET phone home, the time travel, those types of things. So whether it's real or not real, we have it playing symbolically 100%. But as far as that coming into the real, we're shown that certain people went into heaven, like so-called Enoch and Moses, and or where the body was taken, and that being told about the rapture. And so where we have all these things were being talked about in our world, why? And then also we can see them in the Bible, depending what teacher you've been, or how on the corner you're backed in by your pastor and fundamentalism and all those things and whatever else, right? So as the Christ consciousness is gathered through heaven, the window in our hand, we have the ability to seek truth in this world, and where you're born and how you're born and whatever, you are fed the so-called truth, all right? So this is where Jesus says you have to leave those things you were given as a child, and you have to seek after the real truth, okay? So time travel or dimension jumping, time jumping, these things could be very possible as far as once we understand these layers of light, and then where Earth actually is, and how we could actually be in this black hole, and its levels of consciousness upon each other as it constantly consumes itself. And so the time jumping and the time traveler, the end times, and all these things can be tying into this kind of thing where somebody does come back and then people do leave in a way, and it can be through the so-called aliens, but it's not necessarily the hard structure that they're showing you as far as the image given life to sear the consciousness. Because as the Noah's Ark and these types of things, we always see the structure of man realizing who God is and where he is, and then going to the next level of Earth. And this can all be happening as far as on a physical spectrum, but it is definitely happening on that symbolic spectrum, and where the new America, the God of the us and our, the United States, all that is going through a cleansing mounting that white horse rider and going through that purity, and that purity is tied to the 666 and the gold, the silver, the sun and the moonlight and all those things. And that's part of it going dark too. And going dark is it being tied under the crypto, the dark sun, the AI, all that stuff that you're being told. But you're being told the prophecies of the Bible and such in a literal format to where it matches up with the Disney projection that you're being fed with space and the TV given life and all those other things to sear your consciousness, so you cannot see the truth. And your truth has been taken from you. It's been spoon-fed to you since a baby. And so as we're this battery that's putting off energy, and we have ways to give us that internal light in a way that I spoke of in another video, and it ties into your amphetamines and those amps or whatever, or your coffee. Your coffee's a natural liquid methamphetamine, but all these give you energy, and it creates the energy from within. This is where your breathing comes in, where you can create energy within, get the fire breath. All these things are coming in, all right? So as you are a light, a son of God in this spectrum of light of visibility, we're actually operating in a spiritual sense, and this is also part of turning on what's going on as the carnal controls everybody. So the dimension jumping, as far as on a literal aspect, can tie into where Noah, where these people built this kind of ark, and you get into it and you go into the next level. And this can be where Elon Musk is saying we're going to colonize Mars or whatever, right? Because men are from Mars, women are from Venus, we're told. These planets could be dimensions of Earth on top of each other, to where we are going to reclaim our power into heaven, the Lucifer, where we can be able to time travel and time jump and whatever else. And then the Methuselah, the amphetamines and those kinds of things, who live the longest. You don't want to live for 800 years on this earth or whatever, or 800 years under the right in a contained unit. So this is where you have a contained unit, but it's not contained. It's, you go to all the different layers of light and whatever else. And either way, folks, and it also can tie into a carnal aspect as far as them creating a new land or hiding a island or whatever else. We got this big area in the Pacific Ocean. We can only fly these certain areas. We can only go certain areas. The Antarctic Treaty, supposedly the military guards that or whatever. Maybe they're creating that sun of China, that sun they created in China. Maybe they're going to go melt Antarctica, and then you get a little flood of water that way, and all those types of things in a different way. And it changes the coastline, and so we can just see how these things can play out as far as a literal aspect, and a crazy literal aspect, and a symbolic soft style aspect. But there's something with this wood box and the metal coil and jumping up and down types of things to energize the body. You can also energize the body with your breath and doing the fire breath and such. And there's different types of breathing, and just being conscious of your breathing as much as possible, I think is going to help a lot of y'all elevate to the next level, and get your mind off whatever is wrong with you. And as you do these things, it's going to heat up the body. As you heat up the body, you eventually melt out the heavy metals, and you will get clarity and such. But as this clarity comes, you're gonna freak out and whatever else. So are you able to handle it and whatever else? And this is where most people aren't gonna be able to handle it, as they're being taken into Oz, and that osmium metal, the heaviest one, that densest one, well, it's keeping you, you've been eating too much of it probably. Okay, so just a black dust probably being mixed into your pepper or whatever shit like that. And then you got the sodium being mixed into your salt. And if you want to eat salt, you got to eat the minerals and vitamins called Himalayan salt and those types of things, because that's not actually salt. Those are vitamins and minerals that taste salty. And that's how you get electricity. So you got to eat the salt. You got to eat the right salt. You got to eat the fats. You got to eat the proper fats. You got to get the plant fats and the animal fats. You got to burn the right fats in your house and in your body and all these things. And since diamonds, right, that bridegroom situation, and they're pressing gold oil, Christos, out of the plant, and then they make diamonds with it. Diamonds hold information, compressed light, all these things that are being told and shown to you about the flower has the power, though. Okay? Either way, folks, we'll end it here.